welcome back to Moby's Kitchen. And tonight, Bobby and I had busy schedules today, so we were trying to figure out what the heck we're gonna make for dinner. We didn't have time to go to the grocery store to get any ingredients, but I know we have some stuff in the house, and this happens often around here. So we decided to just go through the fridge and the pantry and see what we have and see if we could throw a meal together, because you know, that's just real life. And this is what we came up with. We're gonna do a chicken stir fry with some pad thai noodles. Now this is by no means authentic Asian food. This is our version with what we had in the pantry and the fridge. And we're gonna see if it comes out tasty. I've never made this. I've made things kind of like it, but I've never made this exact recipe. So we're just gonna kind of go by the seat of our pants here. So here's what you need, or something like this if you have things like this in your pantry. We're gonna need some sesame seeds, some sesame oil. We have some avocado oil. You could use any kind of neutral oil here for this. We have some sweet peppers that we found in there. We've got a yellow onion. It's a small yellow onion. We've got a few cloves of garlic there. We have some baby spinach, some frozen peas, and we found these pad thai noodles in the pantry. We've got salt and pepper. We have some fresh chicken breast here. Some green onion for garnish, a little bit of butter, a couple of eggs, and then we've got soy sauce. I like to use the less sodium soy sauce. I feel like it's salty enough, but you can use whatever one you want. We've got hoisin sauce. If you haven't used this before, it's really good. It's a sweet vibe. So you got salty and sweet kind of mixed together. And then for the spice, we've got some of this sriracha, which I love. We love sriracha around here. So let's see what we can do. Let's put this together. Let's start chopping things and let's get them in a pan. Okay, we're over at the stove, so our first step is to get some water boiling. I have this sort of deep sort of pan. It kind of is the similar shape to a wok. A wok really would be ideal for this dish, but this is what I've got. We've got it filled up with some cold water here. Always use cold water before you're gonna boil because the hot water has impurities in it. So we're gonna get this heat going. We're gonna cover this pan, and it should be ready to go when we're ready to put those noodles in there. Okay, we're back over here at our cutting board. We're gonna cut all our vegetables. We're gonna start with garlic. So if you haven't seen me do this before, this is a nice little trick. You put the blade away from you, put it over your garlic clove, kind of hammer down on it, and this little papery skin stuff should come right off. And then what I like to do is make sure all the skin's off, cut this little woody root off. Okay, and then don't cut all the way through. If you just do an easy chop here. It doesn't have to be like minced all fine or anything like that. And that should do right there. And we're gonna finish cutting our garlic and we'll be right back with you. Okay, so next up we have one of these small sweet peppers. This is what we had. A bell pepper would be totally fine and acceptable for this, but like I said, this is what we had in our fridge. So what I like to do with these is kind of take this end off and carefully kind of hold it and cut it in half here. And then what you wanna do is kind of scoop these seeds out here. They should come out pretty easily. And some of this white sort of fibrous stuff, you want to get that out of there. If a few seeds stay behind, it's not a problem. These are not spicy at all, so it's not going to hurt anybody. And then what I like to do is kind of push them down and slice them into skinny little sticks, sort of like this. There we go. And there you go, just like that. And we're going to do that with all of our peppers. Okay, so I've cut the end of the onion off, not the root end, but the other end, not the furry, so-called furry end. And then I've cut it in half and peeled the outer layer of skin off there. And then this is how we're just gonna do a simple slice on this. Maybe like a medium thickness on these onion slices. You don't have to go too thin. You don't have to go too thick. Just like that. Okay, and we're gonna use the whole onion here for this one. It's a pretty small yellow onion, so if you have a bigger onion, half might do. Just take your time. There's no rush here. That'll do it. Perfect amount of onions there. And next up, while you're watching, let's just move this to the side. We're gonna take our green onion. And see these like sort of flappy parts? You can peel these down. This is just gonna be kind of for like a garnish at the end. So some of this outer layer you can take off. And then what you wanna do, kind of cut the ends off because they get kind of dry. and just discard these out of the way. And then if you want them to be like really sort of have some flair to them, you can cut them at an angle. So when they go on, they have kind of an angle to them. And we're just, for this recipe, since it's just the garnish, we're just looking for the green part. We don't need to get into the white in this too much. I don't know if that made sense. We don't have to get into the white too much here. And there we go. We have our sort of green garnish that we can put on. It'll make it look pretty at the end. Bobby appreciates that, so. Okay, so I've got kind of some light trimming done on this chicken breast here. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna slice this up into small slices so it cooks quickly. So what we're gonna do is kind of butterfly it first. This doesn't have to be perfect cutting here, by the way, too, because it's gonna be all sliced up and it's gonna go into the stir fry. And as you can see, our grain kind of on the chicken breast kind of runs like this. So it's always good to try to cut against the grain. And then you've got the sort of the tenderloin here that's a separate piece. You can see it's separated by this sort of fat. So we're gonna cut the tenderloin off. The tenderloin you've got running this way. So let's kind of cut slices like that against the grain. And you want just nice thin slices. It's gonna go into like a stir fry setup, so we want it to cook up nice. So as you can see, we've got slices like this running kind of against the grain as best as you can. And this is one chicken breast, as you saw. So we're gonna cut this up and see what it looks like. This might be enough, actually. So you can see, we've got some pieces like this and some smaller pieces like this. They're all about the same size, and that's what we're trying to do so they cook evenly. And we're gonna do the same thing with the other half. Let's cut this tenderloin off. See how the grain runs this way? So we wanna cut, grain runs this way, we wanna cut against the grain. Okay. And then our breast piece here, you can see the grain kind of runs like this. So let's kind of cut at an angle here against the grain as best as we can. And now we've got pieces that are all uniform, pretty uniform in size here. I think I want to do a little bit more chicken than that, but not much. Maybe like another half a breast or maybe the full breast. So we'll cut up the next one and see what it looks like. Okay, so we've got breast and a half is what it came out to. So we butterflied 2 breasts. We cut each half of the butterfly. We came out with 3 halves there. Sliced up. We're gonna add a little bit of salt and pepper. We're gonna keep this simple. There's probably a couple teaspoons of salt there. And we'll do the same for the pepper, but you can kind of salt to taste, season to taste here. Remember, we're gonna be adding soy sauce in here, and that's gonna add some saltiness to it, so we don't need to over salt. Just kind of get this mixed together, lightly season, salt and pepper. All right, I think we're ready to actually start cooking now. We've got all of our prep work done, and we'll meet you over at the stove. Okay, so our water's boiling here. We're gonna take our pad thai noodles. You can use any kind of noodles here. This is just what we had, and it sounds good. So we're gonna put those in the boiling water. These take about 4 minutes to cook. They cook really fast, a lot faster than spaghetti noodles. So we're gonna watch this, 4 minutes, we're gonna strain it, and then we're gonna use this same pan to cook everything else in. We're kind of gonna do it in kind of stages here, so. Okay, so we've been going for about 4 minutes here with these noodles. I wanna get this noodle water here. We're gonna save about a cup of it. Let's see if I can get a little bit more. Yeah, I guess that's the best we're gonna do. That's plenty. We're gonna use that later, you'll see. Turn our heat off, and then we're gonna go strain this. Now, if you need to make more noodles for more people, you can do that. That's what we have in the pantry. So we're gonna ride with what we got. You could always use spaghetti noodles. You could also use, chow mein noodles if you have that. So Asian noodles are probably best for this, but you could use spaghetti noodles, it would work. Okay, we're gonna start with our chicken in the pan here. So we're gonna put a little bit of avocado oil, maybe about 2 tablespoons. We've got medium-high heat going. This is gonna be a high heat dish. Roll the oil around, make sure it's nice and coated on there. And then what we want to hear is like a nice sizzle. So let's put one piece in there and see what we're getting. That's good. So you don't want to overcrowd the pan too much. So we're going to put it in slowly here. Okay, so we'll just get it going. We don't want to touch it too much at the beginning. Let's get it stirred up so we have contact from all the chicken. And then we're going to leave it alone and let it cook so it gets kind of a nice brown color to it. All right, so let's put it in there like that and we'll leave it alone. Okay, so we've been sauteing this chicken here for about 3 minutes. And I'm going to stir it up. We should see a little bit of browning starting to happen. Like I said, we're kind of flying by the seat of our pants tonight. Some light browning, nothing too crazy. Remember, this is going to look good in here because we're going to add the soy sauce. It's going to color it nice. So we're just going to stir it up right now and let it keep going. We don't have to like fully cook. We can like 90% cook this chicken because we're going to add it all back in together once we get the veggies cooked and the noodles, and we're going to stir it back up. So we're just trying to get it about 90%, 95% cooked now so it doesn't dry out too much. All right, let's let it go another couple minutes and we'll call it good. Okay, so our chicken's right where we want it here, so we're going to take this off the heat. We're going to put it on the side here on a plate. Like I said, we might not be using all this chicken for this one round here. I'm just going to make enough maybe for 1 or 2 people for tonight. So let's get all the chicken out of there, and that's okay to leave all that behind. That's all flavor there. We're going to get our heat back on to medium-high. We want this pan ripping hot here. We're going to add a little bit more avocado oil. Maybe a tablespoon or 2 more. And then we're going to add in our onions and our sweet peppers here. I'm going to saute these for about 3 minutes or so until they get kind of somewhat translucent here. We don't want to fully cook these because we're going to keep adding stuff to it. So maybe 2 or 3 minutes here and we'll be right back with you. Okay, so we've been going for a couple of minutes here with our onions and peppers mix. I'm going to add in the frozen peas at this time. Let's do maybe about a cup of frozen peas. And since those are frozen, they're going to kind of cool the pan down temporarily. But they're not going to take long to cook. Once they get going in this heat, like they're already softening up. We're going to let this go for another probably 2 minutes, and then we'll add the garlic in. Okay, so next up, we're going to add in a handful of spinach. Now, you can put a lot of spinach and it breaks down. We're going to do about a handful like that. And then we're going to add our garlic. The garlic doesn't take too long and the spinach doesn't take too long, so we're adding those together. Let's cook these down a little bit. Now, this is a good time to add a little bit of that pasta water. Maybe about a 1/4 cup there. This will help kind of steam the spinach down. We're going to go for about, I don't know, see, you can already see that spinach is broken down. We're going to add, now I'm not adding salt and pepper because we've got salt and pepper on our chicken, and we're going to be adding soy sauce to this in a minute. First, we're going to make a little space here. Let me grab a butter knife out of here, Bobby, sorry. I'm going to add a tablespoon of butter. Make sure all the paper's off. Okay, and then we're going to take our egg. Add that in there. I'm just doing 1 egg for this. Actually, you know what? Let's do them both. Why not? Both eggs in. And we're going to scramble this in the pan. Give it a little stir up. You can see it cooks fast. Gotta keep it moving so it doesn't burn too much here, because that pan is hot. Okay. Okay, now we can mix it all together. And I'll be right back with you. We're gonna let this cook for about 30 more seconds. Okay, so full disclosure, I took out about half of the mixture here with the eggs and the veggies, just based on the amount of noodles we have. So for another, I'm gonna make another batch after this with, I've got some ramen noodles we're gonna use, but you could use spaghetti noodles, but this is about the perfect amount. And I'm gonna put about half of our chicken in here. There we go. And then we're gonna add our noodles. Sorry, it's kind of getting in the way there, Bobby. And we're gonna add a little bit of this pasta water. You know what, let's put all of it in there. If we need more, we can add more just regular water, that's fine. We're gonna add some of this hoisin sauce. Maybe, what, 2 tablespoons? And we're gonna add soy sauce, maybe 2 or 3 tablespoons of that. Mix this together. I'll break these noodles up again. Make sure everything's coated nicely. We'll see if we need to add any more. I've got my heat turned down to medium, by the way. Got everything cooked. We're just trying to kind of combine it now at this stage. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do some flipping here. Bobby loves it when I make a mess around here, huh? What do you think, Bobby?
Negative.
Smells really good. Okay, and here's what I'm gonna do here. I'm gonna add a little bit more butter. Maybe another tablespoon. Remember, I've never made this exact recipe here, so we're just kind of cooking on the fly. Okay, get this butter incorporated. It's gonna add a little richness to it. You don't have to add the butter if you're on a special diet or whatnot. I think I'm gonna add just a tad more soy sauce. Maybe just a couple more glugs of that, maybe a couple teaspoons, I should say. All right, and then let's finish with some toasted sesame oil, the flavor. I'm gonna put maybe a teaspoon or 2. And some actual toasted sesame seeds here. Oh, what came out of there? Oh, it's an almond. That's been on there from something else we made.
I think I got that in there on accident.
So maybe about a tablespoon of actual toasted sesame seeds there. All right, it's looking good. It smells good. What do you think, Bobby?
Yeah, it smells good.
I think we're good. Let's turn our heat off. Let's get it served up and I'll be right with you to give it a shot. Okay, we've reached my favorite part and this is the taste test time. As you can see, we've got this in a bowl. I garnished it with our green onions and I put a little bit of Sriracha, as you can see on there too. If you don't like the spice of the Sriracha, don't do it, but I think it adds flavor and spice. Now I'm terrible with chopsticks, so I'm going with the regular old fork today to give it a shot, but if you want that authentic experience, you could go chopsticks. Like I said, this is not an authentically Asian dish. I know there'd be a lot of critics out there if I called it that. This is just kind of my version of stir fry from what we had in the pantry and in the refrigerator. So let's give it a shot. I'll be honest with you, if it's not good, it's not good. If it's good, it's good. It smells good, looks good. It's really good. That Sriracha adds some kick, I'll tell you what. It definitely like hits you in the back of the throat. The noodles are really good in there. All the veggies come together nicely. You taste that sort of richness from the chicken. It's really good. I mean, I would absolutely make this again. I have it on camera now, so I can go back and see what I did, because to be honest with you, this was not a recipe that I've made exactly the same before. And hey, it came out nice. I think our family's gonna be really happy eating this tonight. Thank you for stopping by Moby's Kitchen, and remember to like and subscribe. Keep liking those videos, subscribe, comment, give us your feedbacks to let us know what you think. We've got some really fun videos coming up in the future.